So Daniel, with this, so I want to try to condense this. There's something big I want to do again. Let's go next slide. Buckfields. Who's got something awesome, amazing to share, either about them, something they're proud of, or they're happy that they did, or grateful for somebody else, or they're grateful for things that maybe they've done for them this last week. Who wants to feel about it? We got it.
I want to shout out to the staff, all my helpers, everyone that helped me get this guys all together for Halloween party. Make sure you guys stop by on Friday. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. We do have the holiday or the Halloween party on Friday. Costumes are encouraged if you have them as well. Anybody else before we move on?
I'd like to thank Daniel for always being
Yeah, that's one of the things that, it's pretty hard to go a week without a bill for Daniel. So thank you for that. Awesome. All right, Daniel, let's get moving on. Your real estate, and you want to go on how to start assessing your fair market. Little humor for us in the morning. I got another good one that I saw yesterday, but I thought I'd share it.
You might want to have to go.
Okay, yeah, that way we hear a little bit better, and let's maybe move this a little bit closer. There we go. All right. So just want to thank you to Sean for the amazing breakfast as always. And Sean, why don't you come up and share a little bit with us? Great.
So First American just offered me the opportunity to sell NHP. I am just now learning about it. I have not sold it yet, but what I am learning there are two different kinds that you can order. There's industry standard, and then there's the comprehensive. And then in learning that, and they actually are backwards. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that when I was taught this, the comprehensive is less money. It sounds like it would be more expensive, more money, like the top tier of the group, but it's actually the least. And the industry standard is our more expensive bundle. However, it does include gas pipes, the maps for gas pipes. It does include leaky storage units and underground leaking pipes. So I'm still learning about this. I do have a specialist that is going to start coming with me, I think, in the next few months. I'm going to be scheduling this. It's going to be something that I can actually let Daniel know and let you guys know that I'll have an NHP person with me just to go over this a little bit more as I'm learning it. I feel like it's best for me to watch somebody present to you guys about what this is. But what I am learning is that it's really scary. It's also home warranty, which is so much nicer in my opinion now. After learning about what NHP is. Home warranty. So I am a local rep for the NHP. I'm sorry, for the home warranty. Our comprehensive bundles are the legal premier that does cover things like washer and dryer, air conditioning, refrigerator, the upgrades in the home. I left a couple of brochures kind of like scattered along. I know that they pulled them front and back. There should be like a QR code. I don't know where they're getting my stuff, like reference. So once I find out where my brochures are, I'll let you guys know that my brochures, I put a few out. They do kind of break down the bundles for you guys. So if you have questions regarding more, please don't hesitate to reach out. My cell phone number is on all of my marketing material. Just reach out to me directly. All of them. Thank you so much for having me for breakfast.
All right, let's keep this train moving. So, a couple closing. I want to give some shout outs. Congrats to Brandy in Long Beach. And then we had Mark had a close one here in Torrance. Great job, Mark. James in Carson. So great job to James. Josephine in Redondo Beach, and Amy on Golden Meadows here in RPV. So congrats to all you guys. Ella in Irvine, so Ella's driving a little distance there, and then John with the nice little league in Long Beach, so congrats on that. Looks like a nice little beach bungalow for John there. And then Michelle and Rocio in Torrance, that's a great job with those closing. All right, so some new listings. Stephen has one on Ocean Terrace. So you want to tell us just a little bit about that?
Yes, this is an incredible house. It has a beautiful view of Catalina, Terranea, Trump, and Los Springs Golf Course. Swimming pool spa, 5 bedroom, 6 bath, and it's designed by a famous artist, Marshall Lewis. It was built in the 80s, but it's got a lot of different features and curves, and it's definitely a must-see, and it's really well priced.
And that's on tour today.
That's on tour.
So make sure to go check out that property. It looks amazing. Awesome. Next one, Janet Chin has one on White Cliff in RPV, and it's just a hair under $2 million. It looks like a nice property as well. It says that it is on broker's tour as well. So make sure you go and check out White Cliff for Janet. And then Sandra, you want to tell us a little bit about the Janet in Harbor City?
Very close, KWPV drive north. The first level, has one bath and even separated from the second. The lower level, it has a full kitchenette, bedroom and a bathroom, pool, has view, pretty motivated. I'm gonna have it tomorrow, broker's open 11 to 1.
Yeah, it looks great property. And good price. All right, next one, we have Paige and Maggie has a new listing in San Pedro, so make sure you connect with Paige if you are interested in that one. Their stays are so great with the number 9, right? So this one is, they do it at 99 cents on their gut. Right. So this is about a little over 1,300 square feet, nice little property. All right, Dan, the next one. Mark has a new listing. Mark's on fire, and the guy doesn't. You don't hear from Mark for a little while, and then he comes out of the woodwork with two great properties. So he has one in Carson, 770, 1308 on the square footage. So make sure that you reach out to Mark. You've got some people looking in Carson. And then Puerto Rico, it has a property at 759 in Wilmington. So if you have any. You got some info on that one?
Yes. So they all have garages, they're all 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Some of them improvements on the property, double pane windows, newer roof, copper plumbing, newer floor. And our granite countertops, and she said they're all rented, they all come with the tenants, but it's a pretty good price.
I mean, you got 759 in triplex, and they're all rented already. Okay, what more can you ask? Right? And it looks like the net operating income is about 37,340. So next some investors could be a good opportunity. All right, next slide. Sion has another property in LA, listed at 595, nice little condo, 678 square feet. And then James has property in Studio City, so James all over. And then this one's 1,500 square feet for that's rental for $6,000 a month. And I think that's it for the listings. Anybody else have a listing that didn't make the board that's coming soon that they want to get?
I'll also share that we have 2 on broker tour today. They're both on the same street. One is on the market for a little bit, but we improved the price to 7.5. So if you guys remember the one with the pool and the bridge that goes over it, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
It's just from people.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks. So some upcoming classes and events. First one is Friday. Again, this is on Zoom. You don't have to get out of your pajamas. 8 o'clock in the morning. We're normally used to having our producers mindset calls every day of the week. And we usually have the guests that we bring in on Friday. This is a little bit, well, not a little bit, it's a lot outside of the norm, because on Fridays it's usually one of the leaders interviewing one of our agents in one of our 3 sister offices. But for this one, I was able to talk Jason Abrams into coming and dropping in for us. And if you didn't know Jason, he's like number 3 on the totem pole at Keller Williams International. probably the smartest guy, or one of the smartest guys outside of Gary Cover that I know about real estate. All the guy does all day long, every day, is talk to top agents and find out what they're doing to be successful in the business. So he's got some like mind share from lots of agents across the country, and super funny, really entertaining. It's going to be really, really great, and so it's a big deal that we were able to get him to agree to tune in with us. So that is not a Keller Williams International thing. This is our normal producer's mindset of just our 3 sister offices. And Jason's going to be there on Friday morning at 8 o'clock. So I encourage all of you guys to tune into that one, because you guys have to be questions about how to be successful right now. If anybody has any numbers, to be this guy. All right. I want to bring this up to you because a lot of people are, really get challenged with objections and how to go over dialogue. And so Richard turned to as an agent, one of our top agents in our Long Beach office. They do role play 3 times a week, every single week, and it's a quick Zoom call after the mindset call. So he goes at 8:30, and they go for about half an hour. Richard presents the topic, and then breaks everybody up into a room to kind of just practice dialogues. So if you want to get really good at conversations with people, this is a really great thing to do to get disciplined, to learn how to have better conversations with people before you start your legion every month. Okay, and that's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. QR code will give you the Zoom link as well. Okay. We are new momentum makers, been live for now past couple of weeks, which anybody in here hitting their goals that they have for themselves for 2024. Right? If you're not, this is a really great thing to come into. It's not a long time. We only go a half an hour. It's every Monday, and it should go, for lack of a better word, enjoy. Hey, this is what I want to do. Cool. And then you come back the next week. Did you do what you said you were going to do? Yes. Awesome. Get pat on the back. It feel good. Right? If not, nobody's going to be there to like challenge you or to like make you feel bad, but it's more of, hey, here's some solutions. Let's say Joel comes in and says, hey, I said I was going to do 3 open houses this last weekend, and I only did 1. Cool. Well, what got in the way? What prevented you from doing the other 2? Well, now here we can now run as a group together to make sure that doesn't happen, right? So a little bit of accountability is a really good thing, because I always say this. We are great at holding other people accountable. We're the worst people on the planet at holding ourselves, right? We're just hardwired that. Our brain basically likes to protect us. Our brain basically is wired to help us avoid or eliminate pain, and we make excuses for ourselves to say certain things are okay. Or if I have to go in and basically report to somebody, and that's going to up my level of commitment. Okay, so those are Mondays from 1 to 1:30. And then we're doing a listing presentation class tomorrow. 2 weeks ago we did one on buyer presentations. This week we're going to do one on listing presentation. So we're going to go over what's in a really good listing presentation, and then I'm going to give you some resources to be able to put together a good one if you don't have a good formalized listing presentation put together. Okay. All right, and then I will be sponsored as well too, so we are going to feed you. I want to make sure that we put this on your guys' calendar as well. There's going to be 2 days. It's not like 2 days for a class, only a single day class, but we're doing it in 2 locations to make it easier to attend. So we're going to do one in Long Beach, and we're going to do one in the South Bay Market Center. And so on Thursday, November 14th, you can go to Long Beach if you want to, 9:30 to 3 o'clock. And then if you want, or a little bit closer to here, you can go on Thursday the next week, which is November 23rd. Class is going from about 9:30 to 3 o'clock. And some of the topics, they're the same topics, different people are kind of teaching them, but they're the same topics for each session. So Business Principles 101, lead generation, we'll go over lead conversion, we'll have a lunch, and then we're going to have a real estate marketing and online presence session. And then we're going to have an accountant come in and talk about tax saving strategies for real estate agents. And then we're going to have a wealth group come in and talk about how to build your real estate investment portfolio. Okay. So you can scan the QR code, you can attend in person or on Zoom if you wanted to. I would make sure if you can be there physically, you're going to get more out of it if you're there physically. And so there's really three options. You can go to Long Beach, you can go to South Orange, or you can Zoom in. So there's not really an excuse not to go. And this is meant to help you guys really hone in and get the plan set up for the next year, because if we really need to make sure that we have a clear vision of what we want to accomplish, because we don't, it's really hard to get wherever you want to go if you don't exactly know where you want to go, right? Otherwise, you're just going to be driving around. Any questions on that? Okay. Awesome. Daniel, next one. This is super important because you don't want to go to real estate jail for the DRE. So every, I think it is 3 years or so, you have to basically get your ethics training done. And basically, if you scan that QR code, that takes you to a website for the CAR, and it's going to let you, and you plug in some information, and when you plug in the information, it's going to say if you're due for the ethics training. I just got mine renewed, so I'm good for the next 3 years. But if you're unsure of your status, make sure you scan the QR code. And then, like I said, I think you should put in your name and your in our DS number, and it'll tell you if you need it or not. And then there's online training for free to be able to knock that out if you need to.
I renewed it when I did my license last year. Do I have?
I don't know. So what I would suggest is that everybody should scan that QR code to make sure that you're good. Right? Because otherwise, you'll get the DRE and take action. Any questions on that? There's going to be a couple options. Simon's going to lead a class on this. If you need to get this done and you want to do it in person, he's going to lead one in South Bay on November 7th, and he's going to lead another one in Long Beach because he broke both those market centers on November 13th. So you can go in person to those. But there also is an option through the CAR to be able to do it online as well too. That doesn't cost anything either, right? So if you need to take care of it, there's 3 options: Long Beach, South Bay, or you can do it online. But I would make sure that you check that. It's really important.
So every 3 years you have to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just renewing your license certification, there's an ethics certification you've got to do as well, right? Okay. Something that's coming up, Jeff Glover. If you don't like Jeff, Jeff is basically one of the top agents in Keller Williams. He does a lot of training to help agents grow their businesses as well too. And so he's going to actually physically be coming to town. He's going to be at the W Hotel Westwood in LA on December 12th from 9 to 12:30. So about 3.5 hours. And it's called Thrive in 25, 13 ways to become a listing manager and get paid what you're worth on the buy side. So a lot of people, James Turn, Greg Verlander, James Howling, Justin Ford. I can't see what Taylor's last name is, Jeff Glover. But Jeff is like I think his team in Michigan sells something like 400, 500 homes a year. And every agent that I've talked to, lots of agents that have gone to his events, and they say it's one of the best things they've ever. Okay.
Just 4 to 5.
That's pretty. Was that?
Just 4 to 5.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, my friend Bob in Maryland sells 25. Well, the funny thing about that, Cody Gibson, who runs maps, he said that he was saying that it's really funny the way that stuff has changed, or the way that the Keller Williams model has changed real estate. Because he said when you would go to Mega Camp or Family Reunion, one of these big events, if you sold 100 homes a year, you were like bowed down to do, and you were put on stage, and you were treated like you were some sort of. And basically, he said now if you go to those events and you say that you're selling 100 homes, you know, people patting on the back saying, good job, don't worry, you'll get there.
Right.
Right. So it's a little different mindset. So yeah, I highly recommend Jeff's amazing. And I'm not sure if there's a cost on that or not. I'm assuming there probably is.
It's $43.
$43. $43, that's like free, right? Because you charge a whole lot more money than that typically to participants. All right. Football pool weekly, Daniel, who wants to
Hi, you guys ready? This week was Michelle the ball.
Great job to Bill. And so make sure that if you want to participate and play, we got a nice Starbucks card from Bill. So I think that's if he's not here. So yeah, it doesn't cost anything to play, and make sure you fix into Daniel by every Thursday because they're Thursday game. So that is this Thursday, the 24th. Get them to by 12 p.m. If you don't, you can turn them in late. Thursday game's not going to count. Don't get it in by Thursday. All right, Daniel. We did our first power hour. It was a lot lighter than it probably should have. And, you know, Al and I were talking about it. There's some really great content and topics that were being talked about. So make sure that you try and block that event off every single month. We're going to be doing some more things a little more frequently than just that one thing every third Thursday. But specifically on this one, we go over topics in real estate that are challenges for our agents right now. And we just kind of break down how to approach those things. Brooke is really, really great. And then we have our happy hour right afterwards. So we can go out and have a little bit of fun for that as well too. At the Red Onion on Thursdays from 4 to 7. All right. Yeah, that wasn't the Red Onion. So also want to remind you guys we have some really great stuff. Hooks you guys all on Friday.
Stay here.
Yeah.
When you start, guys. The baby starts.
The baby shark.
Song.
And even if I was looking for stocks, I've got a big one on the next one. So Daniel, that's the next slide. I saw this on social media yesterday. So spirit, so it's for our vacation. It includes constant work, upset family, 30 bucks, client phone calls, and one new or phone sale, and you'll find out which one's right.
Upset that.
Right. So that cracked me up a little bit, so I thought that I would share that one with you. All right, Daniel, let's keep this thing moving. Thanksgiving potluck 2 to 5, November 12th. Make sure you scan the QR code, bring a dish, have a lot of fun, spend some time with all of your Mark Center family. And then holiday party is going to be December 11th. We'll get more details for you guys on that day. Just make sure that you kind of block that out so that we can have a good time and be able to celebrate the holidays with each other. All right, we got Linda a minute and we zoomed through this because, like I said, I got something that I really want to go over. I think it will be a lot of fun.
Julie, you got my pants, haven't you?
We're on full pair.
Good morning, everybody. All right, so has anyone like honest answer? Anyone heard about interest rates and other going up? No? Well, we put a little chalk tape and everyone else is that would be nice. They've gone up by 0.75% in the last month. What now? Oh,
Want to buy an example, what's out of things.
oh no. Okay, so I'm gonna educate you guys just a little bit. Okay, just follow me. I like to reference this as geeking out a little bit, but it really is gonna help you understand. For those of you that are old enough, Huey Lewis back in time, this is a 40-year chart that is covering all of the economic expansions and contractions. Okay, so what that means is when we have quantitative tightening, interest rates go up. Like last October, they were 8%, right? What happened last September? The Fed decided to start decreasing interest rates, right? That's quantitative easing. So there's always a peak to trough, right? Meaning, are we in an expansion or contraction? Always doing this, right? And so the question is, why have interest rates gone up since the Fed started decreasing the federal funds rate? I already shared with you guys in a background that when the Fed's decrease the federal funds rate, just a short rabbit hole to take you down, but it has immediate effect on things like car loans, interest rates on credit cards, business loans, things of that nature. It doesn't affect long term. The decrease in federal funds rate, it will eventually affect interest rates for mortgages, but it's not immediate, it takes time. In fact, interest rates went up the day that they announced a half point drop. But to the point of this morning, I want you guys just to see from September 20th of 1984, the first cut that they did was 0.25%. The 10-year at that time was 12.25%. Now, why are we looking at a 10-year? Why am I saying a 10-year bond? Is because the average American household holds on to a 30-year fixed mortgage for 7 to 10 years. Okay. So again, starting from here, I promise we'll bring it full circle. The first drop they did was 0.25. The 10-year at that time was 12.25, but then it went up by 0.31% right after that. And what you can see is that every single time we've had an expansion, every time but one in 2019, it's increased, right? So why are interest rates increasing? Put that out of the way for Al. And when are they going to start to come down? So this is as high as the 10-year got before we really started to see the economy decrease. This is how low that it got. The reason why there's question marks here is because this is not yet to have happened. It hasn't taken place yet. So how do we forecast the future to anticipate when we can start to see interest rates decrease, not only to have conversations with our clients, sellers and buyers alike, but to organize around it with your business plans? And so the next slide is going to show you that if we were to take the average, okay, of all the past expansions and contractions, how low did the 10-year bond go? The average is a 37% decrease, guys. So 37%, basically take 37% off of this right here, because this is where we are now. We're not in 1984 anymore, right? We're in current times, September of 2024, basically October, right? So if we did a 37% decrease, then that means the 10-year at the low cycle, meaning when everything is just, I mean, your hair is on fire, your fingertips are bleeding, phone keeps blowing up, you've got so much business going on, it should come right around 2.35% on the 10-year. Remember, I just said it a moment ago, and repeat it because it's important. The 10-year bond is what interest rates follow because the average American household holds on to a 30-year fixed mortgage for how long did I say? Right. So when we talk about interest rates, what you're going to hear is coupon, okay? And I'm just going to speak it in plain terms for you guys. Interest rates are generally 2.5% to 3% higher than this at all times, because that is where our bread and butter is. That is where my commission is. That is where we have profitability as a bank nationwide, not just us at Sandwich. So if you add 2.5% to 2.35%, what's the rate? That's right, 4.75 to 4.875. That would be pretty amazing, right? Tie this into the previous meetings that I've had with you guys. For every 1% that interest rates decrease, how many more people can qualify for mortgage? 5 million. Jesus, come on, guys. How much more purchasing power does that create for everyone? I know, but I'm trying to rally you now. This is my that equates to $50,000 to $75,000 added purchasing power. So if interest rates today, okay, for standard conventional, we're going to say plain Jane, 720 condo, maybe detached walls, not perfect, right? Maybe 685 foot score. Right now, you're looking at an interest rate that's going to be teetering right at about 6.5 to 7%. Okay. So if interest rates are bound to be decreasing in our crystal ball by about 2%, that's going to be roughly $125,000 to $150,000 in purchasing power, which is around $1,000 a month and a difference of a payment for someone. They buy today versus buying 2 years now. 2 years being the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, it's a year and a half. That's when I can't tell you the exact date. The trough, meaning this number 235. But I can tell you that if we use my favorite quote from Mark Twain, that history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. You're looking at about mid-2026, which I know that sounds really far, but it's not because we're already approaching 2025. And the next slide to tie that together for you, like 2026. All right, so here's our forecast for what we can anticipate in 2025. By the end of 2025, you got this green line that's actual. Then we have the forecast of Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association. We use one box bank, Wells Fargo, and then the National Association of Realtors. This green or orange line stops here because colorblind, I promise. This is where we are right now. This is the forecast. This lines up to sub 6% in 2025. This is telling you, I am telling you, beyond these people in this graph, you will see interest rates drop by another full percentage point on the second half of 25 into 26. So when someone is buying a home now and interest rates have gone up by 3/4 of a point in 30 days, they got a big glass of water poured all over their idea of buying a house. This is a good conversation to have with them. Most of you are gonna forget 80% of everything I just said. That's okay. What you need to remember is for every 1% that rates decrease, how many more people qualify? 5 million. For every 1% that interest rates decrease, how much does that mean in purchasing power on average? 50 to 75,000. When someone says, I want to wait for rates to come down, would that be a helpful statistic to share with them? Marry the house, date the rate, divorce, rent. What's the meaning behind that? Now you have it. And this is also a demonstration of the conversations that I have with the clients, helping them not only plan for the immediate future and their new chapter of their lives and home, but then also to help them manage the debt years ahead. Most bankers are there to help your clients execute one transaction and then they disappear. That's just the way that it goes. We're here to help them create strike rates 1, 2, and 3 over the next 3 years on when they will refinance. How much will that decrease their payment so that they are okay with understanding? It's $8 higher right now. I want to make sure I get all that bank's equity, and this is how Dustin and Ravina, Dustin, Joel, or Dustin, Pam, or whoever, right? Anyone in this room, you get the idea. This is how they're going to help me and my family in years. Okay, and the next slide. Oh, this is just rabbit hole taking down just briefly. Okay, there's one slide after this. Home buyer down payment hits record highs. I thought this was really interesting because what you mainly hear on Reels, at least what I see, TikTok videos and Instagram, is people talking about down payment assistance, first-time home buyer FHA, 3.5% down. Yes, that's there. Yes, it's very helpful. It actually is about 30% for volume. In the last 90 days, I've helped 28 agents across 7 firms close over $60 million in volume. 40% of that is in FHA. The rest of it is all really in the South Bay in Los Angeles, where we're actually seeing people put down as much as 30%. How is that happening? They're using the equity from the residents that they have now. We are at record highs in the amount of equity people have in homes. And people are looking to make a move because over the years they've had, more kids, they've done job transfers, or they're getting divorced, or they're getting married, all these different things, right? We can help them with the structure for how to get a home equity line of credit to tap into their equity that they have, use it as down payment on their new house, to then sell their residence afterwards, so that you as agents in this room don't have to purchase contingent upon the sale of their vacant residence. Or in more dire situations where it's something you have really fast, a bridge loan. Bridge loan being able to tap into the equity they have, bridge it, walk it across the bridge to purchasing their house and then selling their vacant residence afterwards. So anytime you guys need to have a conversation with me about that or your clients, I'm happy to have that conversation with them. Is there any questions about that? No? Did it all make sense at least? Yeah? Oh, no pun intended, sense, right? That was the sense? That's me trying to be funny. Wah, black flag. Okay, you guys can't see this in the back of the room. This is a conversation starter, as I like to call it, for open houses. A lot of you are doing open houses in the weekend. Some of you are seeing significant traffic in specific areas. And when people walk in, it's like, oh, hi, I'm Anna. What's your name? Oh, hi, Mr. Mrs. Smith. Have a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. That's where it generally starts and stops, right? What can we do to start more conversation, right? This is a great handout to have that I created with you by your request to me before the end of the day on a Thursday. I don't think you're gonna Friday night at 8. If you do it, I'll do it again. All right, so at 1.85 million, 3 different loan options to consider to cover all walks of life. How much money would you need to put down? Are you in the minimum down? In the lockdown? Are we in our 30s buying a jumbo property where we've got great careers, we're making great money, but I don't want 20 to 25% down on jumbo finance. We do have a proprietary product where we can put 15% down with mortgage insurance up to 3 million. That's pretty amazing, guys. And then, so this is a conversation starter in of itself, right? And then this is the cost of waiting analysis. What happens with loss of wealth by not making a move and purchasing a house today? Over the span of 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. This takes into consideration not having appreciation, not paying on your own mortgage balance as opposed to someone else's, not having the ability to run off mortgage interest and property taxes, and inflation. And yes, it also includes the fact that interest rates are going to be sliding down, so 6.25, 5.75, 5, right? Because they're going to be coming down, right? So 30,000 is what they lose in 6 months, and up to 3 years, 319,000. This is a great visual to trigger, not tell people why they need to buy a house. And then finally down here, appreciation gain at 1.85 million. Inside of 5 years, this house is expected to be at 2.3 million, not just based off of what we forecast, but also historical data. So historically for this house, it's 5.5, the forecast is 4.1% over the next 5 years. So, can you live in your retirement account? Can you live in your savings account? No, but you can live in your home that also builds wealth with and for you, right? So anytime you guys would like this conversation starter, all of these things in one sheet, or even built out separately, co-branded with your information, I'm happy to provide it. You just reach out. Okay, well, you know me really well. She's not afraid. Definitely. All right, I'll take a look at every time unless there's questions on the forward for you as. Any questions? Huh? Caravan. Oh, caravan, yeah, caravan today. Who's coming? Who's coming? We got a camera spot on this. You guys are more than welcome to join. So there's 15 passenger van. We got waters, cookies, and we got trivia. We have to have a good time in the van. I already got all the stuff labeled out, and it's always a good time, guys. So please join. It's on me. We'll leave here at 10. Thank you.
And skip over to the next slide. All right, next. So closed sales volume for the market center, just wanted to kind of give you guys an update of where we're at year to date. So this is based off of the transmittal for last month. So far, KWPV has done 309 million, almost 310 million in sales. Year to date, we're up about 1.5% versus where we were at last year at this time. So not massive change, but we're right there as far as that goes. We're a little better than we were last year. And so great job to all of you guys. Just wanted to make sure that each quarter I'll update you guys kind of where we're at as well.
That's a great soundbite. So when the client asks you, how's the market? How's the market? Boy, our office closed $300 million.
Almost 310.
Worth of sales. That'll make them feel a lot more comfortable about the market when you say that.
I agree. Because when they ask how's the market, what they're really saying is scared or is it a good time to buy?
Don't answer yes or no, just give them stack. You push them off.
Don't say it's good.
Yeah. Probably within the next 2 weeks, I'm working on getting some like South Bay market stats for each of our locations ready for you guys. That's something that you can give your clients as well too. So should have that for you guys within the next 2 weeks. Not next week, we don't have a team meeting because the brokers are going to be board breakfast. The following week, I'll have that ready. Okay. Awesome. So here's the thing that I wanted to do. So we'll spend the next 20 minutes going over this. So I want to start going over some case studies that you guys can actually come here, learn something, and be able to apply it in the field. And so here's the case study that I want to go in. Been hearing about this a lot from agents over the last couple of weeks. The example here is the homes listed in a competitive market hasn't sold after 15 days. Sellers frustrated and want to know why. Does that sound familiar for anybody? Right? Agent must explain situation, manage expectations, and suggest potential solutions without losing seller's confidence. So this is not just, there's been like 4 combos I've had with agents in like the last 2 weeks, freaking out. Hey, the house has, and it's not just sellers. a lot of the agents that haven't been in a normal market or haven't been in business for a long time are kind of like, I don't know what to do. It's been on the market 15 days and hasn't sold, right? Or it hasn't been on the market 2 weeks and we don't have anything going on yet. And so here's what we're going to do for the next about 12, 13 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and share ideas. So activity is this. Let's have maybe the first 2 rows and the back 2 rows work together as groups. And then I want you guys to answer these questions. So opening the conversation, how do you show empathy and build trust with the seller? We don't want to basically condemn them and say, hey, you don't understand the market. So how are we building some empathy with the sellers? So we're looking at speaking what they need to hear. What language would you use to keep the conversation positive? And then explaining market factors. How would you use data or local trends to help the seller understand market conditions? How do you explain buyer behavior and competitive listings? Plan, what changes would you suggest, such as price adjustment, new marketing tactics? How would you frame these suggestions to get seller buy-in? And then setting expectations. How do you help the seller understand realistic timelines and next steps? And then how do you ensure ongoing communication and confidence in the process? So here's how I kind of want to, here's how I'd like to work this out, is we probably aren't going to be able to hit all 8 points in about a 12-minute period, because we had about 15 minutes left. So I want you guys in your groups maybe pick out the 2 or 3 things that you feel like are the most important, and then we'll spend about 12 minutes going over those, and then we'll have some ahas about the last 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay. So like I said, row 2 and 3 work together, row 4 and 5 work together. Pick out 2 or 3 of those bullet points and how you guys do that. Okay.
Okay, okay.
And you need to pick a reference point from each group that's trying to speak.
So that's one.
Wait, what's mine?
How would we use data or local trends to help the seller understand market?
Here's something that's you have data, you have stats. Trust. They trust the data for this. They trust. Yeah. Right.
How would we show?
Does that make sense? Yeah. Can you play which data? Does that make sense? No.
Okay, so then, and so we got 1 and 2. Okay, how do we help others understand realistic timelines and next steps?
I've done this and that, you know, but.
How do we help sellers understand the realistic price?
That's a lot.
So you have glasses. And so that's one. How do you help sellers understand the realistic timelines? Al?
Realistic timelines?
Yeah.
How do we set expectations for any?
I always start my conversation with 90% of what we're going to talk about tonight is the price. We've already tried the market for 2 weeks. The price is 90% reason why. So I always focus there.
Expectation on the price.
I do remember when we originally listed the properties, I told, gave you my recommended price. You should all know we can work more, so we know it's okay, we're gonna try that for a few weeks with that. It's not, it's. So we have to do that after the plan, because we're losing time and we want to change. Get it all. Maybe my recommendation should probably lower the price by 5%. What do you think? What do you think? Well, I always have a down and I'm looking down. Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
So we transitioned from this sense to.
Yeah. Is realistic. And then sometimes the third part. It's also about how you reinstate their step into the, you know, you don't want to do that.
Is there a, that you are,
A rate?
yeah, like a
Everybody
percentage?
Yeah.
Like,
I usually would refer to like what some of the comments were, I mean, actually, this is if you remember, so. Not just this neighborhood or 700,000. Have to revisit the data. So that. Reminder is this, most of the time, if you don't have. This is things. We can revisit it. 3 months, 6 months, 7 years. And so the stage one.
Let's say one way communication. I think that's. Everyone says, oh. For me as a. Very good.
So the machine seems to have gotten and traders and so is less pushing the rest of the site.
That,
You know,
it's never the last wonder where we're at.
but these. Purchase.
I think there's a conversation. Guys.
You know that. It is that.
I like your report.
That's. I guess that's the following question was how you show empathy and build trust. The only thing we is the two machine listings or whether it's been on the market for 2 or 3 weeks. These are two different conversations. I gave you the second instance, I gave it to you for the other. So it only difference. For the initial one, I would just rely on, you know.
Fair.
Unless it is no, we gotta have 50 grand more. 100 grand more. Hey, that's. You have really that way. Or I would say. I'm watching this up.
Oh, yeah. I was making sure, I was like, I'm not thinking about it. And I'll do it. You have never been talking to it, but you fire for the stuff, see, glasses, it leads them to really understand rabbit hole. But I was listening to them. If I was saying, they thought of everything together and they can make rentals and for selling, and they said, you know, honestly, it's better for you to sell than it is to rent because you're missing. It's always a tricky question.
We're not stand up. We're not
You
stand
get
up.
15 calls a day.
Like,
I mean, well, list.
Okay,
Hey, 1 more minute, let's wrap up our condos. And then we can share what we discussed.
Okay,
So, first group over here, looking at some of the bullet points, what were some of the things you guys came up with in the group? You talked about this actually about the square class too.
And they're back.
Yeah, it's hard to dispute facts, because if I walk into a listing appointment with you, cool, you may or may not believe anything that I say, it's called opinion based, but it's hard to dispute facts. And so that gets people, I think, a little bit more in line with, oh, okay, I didn't know that, or I didn't realize. But it's not just you saying anything. So what else did you guys come up with? So now, to answer that question, so how specifically would you use that data to help them understand the conditions?
To help them ensure that they know that this is a matter of your personal opinion, but actual what's happening in market drifts.
Yeah.
It builds trust with them, and then we also have to do ahead of you, but when you close with data, close with stats. Always including does that make sense? Create them like a agree with you or not, and if they don't, then you can have a conversation about it. But then Al shared, what was yours?
What do you think?
What do you think?
What do you-
Right, about the product.
So, does that make sense when you want to lead them? What do you think when you want to understand what they're thinking to help? Sense? Like,
Because, you know, if they agree with you, you're trying to get agreement, and if they say, yeah, it makes sense, cool, then you can kind of proceed forward, and if they don't, then hey, now that indicates to you, I have another objection that I got over. Right? So I think that's really great. Anything else you guys talk about in those bullet points besides the data part?
Know when to stop talking.
Then we're going to stop talking like this.
That's what's next.
What did you guys come up with? Who's the speaker for that group?
We left.
You got one
Providing support in language is super important for clients. Manny was saying, I never say the word price reduction, I always say price change, which is digital marketing price, which I thought was really interesting and something that I can really think of myself. I think language is really important when it comes to targeting clients. And then we also had a discussion about like depending on the client's personality and how some people are more focused on the stats while others are more emotional. So it's just depending.
Stop there. For the people that don't know what their personalities are, everybody knows the DISC programming, DISC. For new people, how to identify what kind of personality you're dealing with. You may want to look into that, because who's the lead person? Is it the husband or the wife? How do you read that? The moment you just talk to the husband, the wife, she's the decision maker, and flip that over too. So you gotta read their body language, you gotta read the eye contact, say, who am I really talking? Because the moment you just deal with one spouse, you're slow. You're not gonna get anything.
And I think that's really important. And I think that's really important because kind of like we were talking in the front group about data is great, but if I'm dealing with a high D and I overload them with data, that's not really a good thing either, because they're more bottom line kind of, and yeah, I don't want all that. Where on the flip side of that, if somebody is, hey, I need a novel of data, so that it helps me make a better decision. If you don't get them enough, then you can kind of run into some problems there as well too. So I really, really like that. Anything else that you guys discussed in your?
Talk about social empathy. That. It's trying to, people might not want to hear, or we have all these. Part of their own. So you know how you can address or what you need to actually go ahead, and maybe it's not even you, it's something that's been happening. Be able to just listen to that.
Yeah, I think that's really great, because I think the thing is sometimes as agents, we try to hold those conversations. Because it's like, hey, you know what, if I go in and I know that we need a price reduction or price improvement or price change, however you wanna say it, right? If I go in there with the mindset that I'm gonna provide all these facts and all this data on why Daniel, you need to just cut the price down without really having empathy for what Daniel might be going through, that would create a little bit more of a hostile situation. So I really like the idea where it's like, hey, I gotta go in here and I gotta just let them talk. And I like, I love that dialogue we talked about a little bit here around the things on, hey, what do you think? And asking them for their opinion on stuff, because ultimately, whose decision is it to do anything with it, with real estate? Theirs. So we gotta make them feel like they are making the decision, not necessarily us. We're there to guide, but ultimately it's their decision. So we don't want to bulldoze people's stuff. We want to be able to let them vent and let them express what their thoughts are, what their feelings are, and then we give our feedback, right? Anything else that you guys came up with from this list?
I learned a long time ago, selling is asking questions. Repeat that to yourself when you're walking into an appointment. That's how you lead it. The moment you go in and throw up all over their shoes about how knowledgeable you are, you just shot yourself. This is all about them, not about you. Ask questions and lead it that way.
Now, interestingly enough, it's one of the ones that's on here that we didn't talk about, or it doesn't sound like it's talked about much, is looking at the bottom one on setting expectations. It says, how do you help the seller understand realistic timeline and the next steps? What is a realistic timeline in the market?
Under
You mean what, escrow or when they
Not necessarily to close, but. Yes, well, that wasn't the pending period as far as that goes, but right now, when we pulled up some market stats, it's like close to 37 days. Was the average days on market?
how many?
About 37, right?
I also think that it depends on the location too, location, it's important, people are moving because of location.
Well, which is why it's important, especially when, working with a buyer or a seller. If I'm gonna go to a property in a neighborhood that I'm not familiar with, you need to go and you need to pull up the stats. What's the average days on market? Because if I'm working with a buyer and they see, oh, this property's been on the market for 25 days, there must be something wrong with it, because in their mind, they're used to thinking that, hey, stuff goes into contract like in 5 days, it's been on the market 25 days. I can lowball. No, the average days on market in this area is 32, right? So that's pretty typical. So we need to make sure that we're really aware of what the timelines are in the area where we're either listing or the area where we're showing properties. So we can set realistic expectations, right? That's the big, I think that in a nutshell, that avoids most problems. If you can set expectations up front, then you're going to deal less with them later, right? And like, just give you an example and we'll wrap it up. When I was still in production and I would go on a listing appointment, if the person was basically not going to take my suggested list price and they wanted a little bit more, I would always kind of tell them, okay, cool, we can give that a shot. But I would let them know that the maximum amount of exposure for your house happens within the first 2 weeks. If we don't have any activity, we don't have offers, if we're being told that we're overpriced, we got to nip this in the bud on 7 days in. And I said, can we agree that we need to price competitively after trying your value for 7 days? Yes, right? And then what that does is I'm letting them know, cool, we'll try your stuff out. If it doesn't work, we need to take my idea and we need to run with it then. And so it became a lot less of a hassle later on when I had to go ask them for a price improvement, because they expected it. So I let them know I was going to ask them for it in 7 days. We didn't get their price. Or if I brought that up ahead of time, now, and this is where that language comes in the Josh mentioned. If I say, hey, we got to make a price cut, right? 7 or 8 days in, now all of a sudden it feels like I'm losing money. And so by taking some of that surprise element out of it for people, I think really helps them, and it helps you guys as well too. So setting expectations is a really big one.
Drive on the way through to tell them what the game plan is,
What was that?
whatever the price reduction or cut.
And you actually have I put paperwork already there and saying this is what we're going to sign in 7 days. We don't got to get in the contract. All right, any questions on the answer? Okay, well, we're gonna be doing more of this because I think the thing is we go into this next year, we need to spend a little bit less time making in the meetings on info and a little bit more time on things you can actually take out in the field and use. Okay. Cool, if you have any ideas for some case studies you want to explore, let me know, otherwise I'll create it all on my own, but I want to be able to put stuff out there that's gonna help you guys the most, so if you're like, hey, John, I got a really big challenge with this, I'd really like to spend some time doing like what we did today on this topic. You guys have topics for me, shoot them over, and then we'll make sure that we kind of like mind and share solutions for each other as well too. So we've got some great stuff on too for today. Dustin's got his van here, no excuse not to hop in the van and go have some fun with everybody. And again, reminder, no team meeting next Tuesday because the board meeting is happening next Tuesday at 9:30. All you guys go to that. They're having somebody from the LA assessor's office to talk about the slide issues. So, all right, you guys, the next one. Thank you, Dan. And then here's Michelle's.
Come on, you want to-
Yeah.